Birthdays are really fucking overrated. Like, just the expectations I had for this day versus like what actually it started out as. Like, it always like lets you down, you know what I mean? Like, you expect the day to go amazing and then someone cuts you in traffic and you're like, fuck, I'm closing this door, 1 second. Basically, already just kind of having a day. I just hate conflict and fighting, so like seeing that around shit that I'm doing, like I knew putting out a song on my birthday was gonna get like massive haters involved because that's always the case, but like just annoying basically. So I do this every year and this year was gonna be no different. I'm doing 25 things I learned by 25. I know it's like cheesy and shit, but it gives me an opportunity to like do my makeup and catch up and talk about things I've learned, because I started doing this when I was 21, I think, which was when I would have started taking YouTube more seriously. And because of that, like looking back at what I said, it's just a little bit like kismet of just like seeing things. I'm like, oh yeah, I did remember that I realized that, and that would be cool to still have in my life as a realization, because some things, you forget along the way or just are less important. So if you see me looking to the side, it's because I obviously wrote these things out, not because I'm like reading from a script. But this will be my makeup look. You'll see like the finished look of everything coming together at the end. I might finish talking before I'm done, but that's fine, like whatever. So the first thing, and this is going from like most just petty to most important, because I think that is the way that these things generally should go. So also with my makeup, I'll tell you what I'm doing along the way. I'm starting out by just filling in the ends of my eyebrows with the Anastasia brow pencil. I barely do this. I don't really have eyebrows that need much going on, so I just like lightly, fill them in, brush them up. It is what it is. Next, I'm just putting concealer on my eyelids to start my eyes. Actually really undecided on what to do for a part of my eye look, so we'll see what happens. So the first thing, actually I wouldn't say is super petty, but it is like what is the most pressing realization, is that I can actually scream like in my songs and shit, which like for a long time before I did music was something that I was like, oh, that's so cool, one day I hope I can do that. And it was super in the back of my mind just as a concept and everything, because I grew up being super into Pierce the Veil and Sleeping with Sirens, and just the sounds of their more like high-pitched, really intense screams. Not super low guttural screams. Those really aren't my thing, like not super deathcore-y, but I always loved them, and I thought always like, oh, my voice is too high, too thin, too frail. Like growing up, I mostly did falsetto opera choir shit, so it was hard for me to see a path to that, but if you just start trying shit, like it'll eventually work out, in my opinion, if you're just kind of like not caring and you're not super attached. So, I mean, starting out, obviously I wasn't sounding the greatest, but I learned basically that I could scream. It just was about confidence, and that my screams didn't need to sound like anyone else's as long as I was being healthy with my voice and stuff like that, because like I found, and like I tell people, is that obviously screaming should never hurt, but it was okay for me to push. Like I didn't have to, feel like any amount of strain on my vocal cords was bad, as long as it was like a healthy amount in a way. And I would say to anyone trying to learn to scream that it really is about your diaphragm and projecting that air up while not using your vocal cords. So you have like a really open throat, and then you can constrict it if you want to seem higher pitched. But the way I think about it when I scream is like I want to open my throat and ricochet to hit the roof of my mouth. Like use my diaphragm, have air going up, hit the roof of my mouth, and then use my vocal cords, or my false cords, I believe is, what I am using when I do this. That vibration gives the roughness. So it's not like a strain with volume, it's more of ricocheting from the roof of my mouth into the false cords, which like are like back here. So I found that a lot easier than fry screaming, which I can't really do to this day. I don't understand how to put volume behind it, or maybe I'm fry screaming a little bit and I don't understand that I'm doing it, or something like that. But yeah, I've always, found more, sorry, my camera's falling, because yet again, I don't have a formal camera tripod, because for some reason I just really don't want to bite the bullet on that cost. It's like, other things, I'll pay for, and for like an expensive camera tripod for my Sony, I'm like, no, I don't want to pay for that. So it was about learning how to like, to project the breath up and ricochet off of, the roof of my mouth and my vocal cords. By the way, I just set this with the RCMA no color powder. It's the best. I've been using it for literally like probably 9 years at this point. Now in my crease, I'm using the Too Faced milk chocolate soleil bronzer because I use this bronzer all over, so now I like to use it in my crease. The second thing I learned, which this goes to the petty shit, is that accessories can make or break an outfit. Like, I used to be someone who was really lazy. I wouldn't think about belts or jewelry or anything. And now I feel like the reason that I felt like my outfits were missing something is because I wouldn't think about, you know, like the socks or the hairdo or the necklace. So I feel like if you just do like a basic, if you just do like a basic red top or like black bottom, like that's something I would do. But you like add like a chunky necklace or something really cool like that, that can really, really make or break the outfit. So like a normal 2-piece set for me is not going to cut anymore. I really have to accessorize it. So I feel like maybe some of you who are also like lazy stylists can, you know, get some use out of that. I think I'm going to do a like little bit of a shimmer all over, but nothing too intense. I just want like a light shimmer on my eyes. I think my lips are really going to be what steals the show here, as we'll see after I do everything. The third thing is that I think my favorite look on myself, which I realize, and maybe some other people are realizing too, is like I like the way that my makeup looks when it is super disheveled black eyeliner and glitter, like super Kesha 2012 kind of look. Like I think that actually looks the best on me because it allows my bone structure to show the most. And maybe some other people have learned that too, but even though for these purposes I think full glam makes the most sense for like the look I'm going for, I really think that I like on myself black, like smudged. Like whenever I do the black eyeliner smudged, like you guys have seen, I don't do any face makeup like at all or any lip makeup. I just do like lip balm. By the way, this is a Disney Fantasia palette, which actually was really good. I don't know what brand made this, but I use the glitter in here because it's like a nice overall shimmer just to brighten the lid, and that's that. So I just realized like I really like that look on myself, and teen me always loved that look on like Sky Ferreira and stuff, who's to this day my biggest aesthetic inspiration. Like I don't know if she'll ever know who I am, but like to this day I'm like, you were the person that catalyzed where I ended up going with what I found I liked aesthetically, so thank you. I didn't flat out copy her. I saw other people with this, but I know that you have a teardrop tattoo as well, so I think that's really cool. Anyway, I just remember seeing her makeup on like Tumblr days, like all messy, and I thought it was the coolest, cutest thing ever. So I'm like realizing that, you know, I like it on other people, I actually do like it on me, and that was just something I learned this year, so maybe it can inspire some of you to try out that kind of makeup. The other thing is that I learned, like it's just fourth, I learned I actually really love my curly hair, and I feel like all curly haired people have this thing at one point in their life where like they don't know whether or not they like their curly hair, because I know growing up I went through stages of like diffusing my hair, straightening it. I've never been a hater, but I didn't really love it until recently. This is the Kat Von D tattoo liner, the only eyeliner I ever use. And because of that, I learned how to really take care of it, you could say, which I don't do the same thing as some other people with like, what do they do? Like the no poo method, no shampoo, or like they use special towels. No, I just use, I use a lot of conditioner, and I like to leave it in overnight, like a couple times a month. And I find that just that moisture obviously is what has really defined my curls. I don't use anything that is goopy or leave in a way that's like I don't use anything that is removes volume. I don't like the wet look. I do not like wet look hair whatsoever, really, unless you're looking for like beach wet look. Because of that, I found that I really loved my curly hair, and now I do not style it unless I need to for like a look, because like I love my crazy curly hair and I feel like people like it better. It's not defined curly in the same way that, I don't know, someone with like ringlets has. It's more just like wavy crazy everywhere, which is fine. It's just like me. So if you're also like a curly haired girl, I hope that you have this realization one day. But I have super fine hair. I have a lot of it, but it's fine. So if I style my hair, it stays. Like my hair will stay straight forever. It's not going to go back to curly unless I get it wet. So that's the upside to just the kind of hair that I have. I also didn't think I would ever, this is a fifth realization, I realized that I love the way I look without lashes, whether it's eyelash extensions or falsies. I never thought I would get to a point in my life where I could actually say that, but no lashes is kind of a look. So I started letting my eyelashes fall out whenever I'm like done, kind of. I don't go in for a fill often anymore. I let them all fall out, and I just like that look. Like it's so super clean. And I feel like now that as I'm getting older, I don't have as much like buccal fat on my face, so I have more bone structure, which is like kind of scary because I always know I had like angular features, but recently, I'd say like 24 to 25, I feel like I've had the biggest jump in the way that I look age-wise versus, 20 to 24, I look like the exact same. And now I feel like being 24 to 25, I look significantly older in a way that is scary because I'm not the easiest about aging. Naturally, I'm not someone who's like, aging is beautiful and like, make this stop. I don't like knowing that I'm mortal and also like turning ugly. But I did realize that I really like myself without lashes, and I feel like that's another acceptance thing where I just honestly aesthetically appreciate the look. The other aesthetic thing I learned, number 6, I believe, is that I actually my favorite thing I've ever done to myself aesthetically, I'd say, is choices, anything, is getting masseter Botox. If you see me, I didn't notice this until probably 2 years ago, was that my jaw felt whiter and more manly. And no one commented on it, but I could see in videos that it just looked big, and for some reason my masseter muscles were getting bigger. I don't have diagnosed TMJ, but I did start getting massages with a really good therapist who she moved, God bless, RIP to you, and not RIP to you, but like rest in peace. Yeah, you get it. She gave the best massages, and she basically was like, you clearly have a ton of jaw tension. Like when she would go in to massage my jaw, it was so painful and tight. It's the only time I've ever had a painful massage. And so with that, she was like, you should, when you go to your injector I've gotten 2 rounds of lip injections. It's like half a syringe total in my lips. Like it's nothing, but it gives a little bit of a pout over the past year. She was like, you should see him about masseter Botox. And I was like, okay. So I did it. I need a lot of it. Literally, I go in every 6 weeks, and I don't know if there's a more intense, neurotoxin, but I literally have gone in for 20 units each side for every 4 to 6 weeks, and they're still really strong. So it definitely slimmed out my face and gave me a more heart-shaped face, and I think that was a very good aesthetic decision for me that I think has made me much, much prettier. So I just realized the beauty of masseter Botox for both easing my tension and aesthetically, so I'm very thankful for that. I also think just aesthetically in photos, I'm learning that a more simple backdrop and composition looks better than trying to fit everything cool into a photo, because I used to think I want to try to get every angle of myself and everything cool into this photo and have the awesomest backdrop, and I realize now that I think a simple focus on a photo or photo shoot is much more aesthetically pleasing than you full body in the most audacious outfit ever in front of a graffiti background. I would much rather have an awesome portrait of me in front of a white wall with a really cool shirt on than a huge complicated full body picture in front of a beach. I think that these stories that we tell with details are much more pleasing, and frankly I think they get more likes usually, because it's just cooler to see the up close of someone's makeup, or the portrait waist up shot rather than full body from far away kind of thing usually. So I think simple and telling a story tends to be better with photos. I'm now putting on falsies on the outer corners of my eyes. I do this on special occasions just for that extra cat eye effect. I'm not getting these on my extensions whatsoever, especially because I'm not having to really get into the inner corner at all. These are just in the outer corner of my eye there. 8th thing is that, in line with this, more is not always more in art. I think that my best example of that was that I used to call myself a maximalist in always, more of everything, more of everything, more of everything. And I realized that when I started writing songs with my producers, I would come in with wordy ass novels, and they really had to edit them down with me onto what mattered. So a lot of the things that I thought would be, for example, in my first few songs, they got cut as lyrics or lines because it was just too much. So I learned with that, and also just aesthetically with makeup and when I look like that, I no longer think more is always more, and there can be a refinement and simplicity. And I mean, even shout out to Aubrey Postier. She made me this art, which I have literally hanging on my mirror. It's I think I should get a full place for fan art, so it's designated, but this picture is so beautiful, and it's just black, white, and red. and like if this would have had color or my skin color on it or anything like that, it would have like taken away from the beauty. So I think that there's a beauty in simplicity, and more is not always more. Let me put on this primer. So the primer that I'm using is, and also the falsies that I used are the Sister Nature by Kiss fake vegan. They're vegan mink, which just means like fluffy and not cruel to animals. This is an extra set I have. I cut them in half and did that. And then this primer, this is the NYX Angel Veil Primer. It's a dupe for the Hourglass Primer. I've been using this also for like 10 years. It's the exact fucking same as Hourglass. I go back and forth between NYX Angel Veil and the Smashbox Primer for like no good reason. I just like both of them. So number 9 is that I did not get into sparkling water until this year. I did not know the fun of sparkling water. Like, sparkling water is so fun. You can put like fun and fizz into water. I'm obsessed. I'm turning a fan on because it's really hot in here. So it's probably similar to people who like have never had sugar in their life and then they moved to the US or something and they have all this junk food, but like I never had sparkling water before until this year. I don't know why, I just always either didn't have it or didn't like it, so yeah. This is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation in 3, which is their lightest neutral color. I'm obsessed with this foundation. If you know, you know. It is the best. It's long lasting, it's natural looking, it's not necessarily glowy or matte, super nice finish. I do 1 pump all over my face, and that's that. I don't wear foundation very much, you could say. Like, if I have a full glam look, I wear it, but I have really good skin, and the secret to that is diet and lifestyle. I'm vegan, so I don't eat dairy. Also, I'm whole foods plant-based. I don't really eat sugar, so people ask me for the routine. Frankly, it's simple products that I change every single time I go to buy a new product, because I like the variety of buying new shit. It goes back to lifestyle, diet, and if you want to say genetics, sure, but there's members of my family with really good skin and really bad skin. I think it goes back to their diet. So number 10, which also goes back to food, is that I'm obsessed with macambo beans. I found them this year. They're nuts. They're not beans, but they're called macambo beans. I'll put a picture up. They're so fucking yummy. I mean, they're expensive and overpriced, and I only find them at Erewhon, but like, if you're looking for the coolest fucking nut to eat, which is like also good for you and shit, I'm putting this on to get my hair out of my face. Try macambo beans. I found them this year and they're like really badass. So now I'm gonna put on concealer, Tarte Shape Tape in 12 in. It rubbed off, but I know it by heart because I've also been using this concealer for probably near a decade now, and there's no comparison whatsoever. Like, this is my holy grail. This is my Lord's Prayer. Number 11 is that I think I found the best cold brew in the US. Like, I am a cold brew aficionado. I'm obsessed with it. I don't really like other kinds of coffee. I don't care if it's 20 degrees out. I love cold brew. I think I found the best cold brew, and I'm not sponsored at all. In fact, like, please sponsor me. Like, I think I pay so much to you guys, but I think the best cold brew, drumroll, is from Phil's Coffee, which is also in San Francisco, but it's here in LA. FILZ, and it is the filtered soul cold brew. It is so good. I mean, I like their mojito iced coffee thing. It's like mint. It's not an actual mojito. It's like black iced coffee. But I think the best thing is their filtered soul cold brew. It tastes so good. It has like notes of chocolate in it. It's just so good. I mean, I sound like I'm paid, but I'm really not. I haven't done a paid ad for fucking ever. If you want to sponsor me on anything for your companies ever, anyone, please reach out. As you can see, I have no sponsors. But it's really good, so highly recommend, and yeah, go check it out. Number 12 is that, I mean, kind of in line with this, I've just really accepted it this year that I think as humans, we have no fucking idea what we're talking about when it comes to nutrition in a lot of ways. I say this because, like, it makes just no logical sense to me that I can thrive as a really whole foods, plant-based vegan. Like, since for the past 10 years almost, have been eating, I love it, extremely healthy. I don't cook at home with, I mean, people are gonna freak out about this, but I don't use oil in my cooking. I don't use refined sugar. I use a moderate amount of salt, appropriate for the amount that I'm eating. When I eat out, I don't give a fuck if there's oil in it. I go to Erewhon literally once a day and there's stuff with oil in there. But I mean, just like at home, I prefer to get fats through avocado, nuts, seeds, nut butters, coconuts, etc. So, and I'm using the Fenty Beauty Contour Stick in 08 Soft Amber. So I think that if I can thrive on that, I mean, like, literally thrive. And I don't mean thrive in the way where in 2 years you're going to see me on a why I'm not vegan anymore video saying I had brain fog and fatigue, because I don't. I literally feel fucking fine, and I'm so happy. Like, I love veganism, I love this, and I literally only have good things to say as long as you are not a dumbass and you're eating enough food and like eat calorie dense foods. Like, don't become vegan and then just eat fucking lettuce. Like, eat some fucking nuts and sweet potatoes, bitch. But if I can thrive like that, but I also, admire Mikhaila Peterson, who literally eats like the carnivore diet, like the lion diet. I don't think it makes sense that we can both thrive on that, and people think that like they understand nutrition. Because I think, yes, we can say there's not a one size fits all, but we're the same species. Like, we are the same species. It should not make sense. Like, there's something off with our understanding. And I think, some people are doing extreme things for attention, and I don't understand. Just flat out don't understand, because it's not as if these people that are eating a lot of animals are bad people. Like, they're, that's what is keeping and their experience being healthy and everything. So similarly, I'm not vegan because I'm some nut job. Like, I'm not a crazy, all raw, like everything, etc. So I think clearly I've just realized this year that even though I'm still vegan for both my health, the animals, like I feel very grounded in that, and I'm so thankful over the past nearly 9 years. I don't think I know much of anything compared, like I used to think that the studies and everything made sense, but now I'm just like, this makes no fucking sense. Like, there's something off here we don't understand. Number 13 is I realized that you should really, really treat yourself as your best friend, and that life gets a lot better when you do. And I think I really learned that this year, because there's a lot that I used to not do because I thought it was a waste of money, or doing it alone would suck. And I'm pretty extroverted and have friends that are really down to do things. But I think I saw that other people, like, because I've never been in a relationship fully, you could say, like I've never had anything serious where it's like we go out on dates and blah, blah, blah. I'm now, setting this with the RCMA, no color powder. I saw what other people were doing for like dates, and I was like, what if I took myself on that or did that with myself? And when I started doing that with things that, I find fun or just want to do at home, I think life got more enjoyable in those ways. So I'd say, if you think of yourself as your best friend instead of just you, and you think about the way that you would want your life to be lived, I think that we can gain a lot of fun in life through that, and enjoy that. And in line with that, something that I have known, but I didn't realize other people don't always know, and therefore, like, I really learned this year when I realized, like, other people may not share this as much, is the importance of friends. And it's because I am a really social person. I'm having people over for my birthday tonight. I don't enjoy doing things that are really high-risk behaviors. I don't drink. I've forgotten that drugs exist, because in California, it's just like everyone only smokes weed and does psilocybin gummies, which, like, if you own a psilocybin gummy company, feel free to send me some, because I don't know, if they're a low dose, I don't really notice any difference, and it's like fun, whatever. So I like psilocybin gummies. I haven't really had a trip, you could say. I just think they're fun to eat. Me, and part of the reason why my mental health tends to be really, really strong, aside from defamation, sensitivity, etc., is that I just have friends around all the time. And I think the importance is so, like, I think the reason that I do so well, and there's nothing lacking in my life, even though we've never had anything near as close with the guys I have with my close best friends, is because, like, I'm so satisfied. I think you can survive not being in love. You can survive not in a relationship. I don't think you can survive without friends. And if you're asking me where to meet them, etc., like, I don't really have an answer for you. It depends on where you live. I mean, you can both meet them online or, like, out doing things. I just meet people through friends of friends, but I know that's not really as it's not always an option for people if you're starting more ground zero or you're a lot younger. But I think stressing the importance of friends, especially as an introvert, I'd say more so as an introvert, because I can get a lot of my social recharge by, like, doing random shit. But, like, if you are much more someone who keeps a small circle, I think that's even more important and more something to focus on. So, like, the importance of friends definitely mattered this year. Similarly, I really started to accept this year, like, how much of a, like, intense hard ass I am about things, where I am not someone that wants rest or recovery or to slow down. I'm someone that enjoys working hard as fuck and enjoys, really, like, putting myself through certain things. And I'll have people that disagree with me about this and are like, you just live in a capitalist system, it's just you getting rewarded. But I'm like, no, I actually love knowing that I beat a personal record in the gym. I love knowing that I am doing something really good for my body when I go into a cold plunge or a hot sauna or something like that, where I think that certain physical stressors on the body and the benefits that they bring, as well as structure in life is something to be admired, not something to say is like toxic masculinity or whatever the fuck people say nowadays about working hard, or that's ableist or something, because we're not talking about people obviously that have legitimate issues that are keeping them out. I'm talking about just in general hard work. I'm not someone that strays away from it. I'm not here in my rest, recover, divine feminine era whatsoever. If you are, like, I don't care. Good for you. Like, I'm not even judging or thinking about it. I'm just thinking about myself and how I'm friends with a lot of people that are much softer and by the way, I just contoured with the Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil bronzer. I just put it on all over. Just to set that other contour and like warm it up a little bit, because it's not, the Fenty contour is really, really light, I find. But yeah, as I was saying, I just find that like I'm a hard ass and I'm cool with it. Like, I'm not gonna pretend that I'm like rest or cover is important, because like that's by default. Like, that's comfort is our default. I don't need to be reminded of that, you could say, and maybe you do, and maybe you're someone that your life was changed by rest and recovery, and it's not the way mine has been. But like I said, if you're a divine feminine, sweet little angel person, not that I'm not, I'm very sensitive and soft, but like I like working hard. This is really, really related, but number 16 is realizing that like not only do I just like working out, but I literally like extreme physical stressors, because I find that they allow me a playing ground to deal with emotional stress. For example, like today actually was my birthday, and because I love working out, I did 2 workouts. I did a berries class and a soul cycle class because it's my birthday, and that's not stress I would put on my body. And I don't ever do that. Like, I can't remember the last time I did a double in that way before. Sometimes I'll do like a soul cycle class and a yoga class or a berries class, and then I'll do some weight training after, but like 2, and like that's a lot. But I realized that because I did so well and I was so strong in both, that when some really uncomfortable emotional stuff came up today, of course around my birthday, and of course around like just like defamation, hate, BS type of thing, I dealt with it a lot better than I would, I think, if I didn't go to the like gym or work out with these classes today. And I think that physical stressors, especially cold plunge, like the ability, because that's the worst for me. That is something where it has been so easy when I was younger to be like, I'll do everything but cold plunge. I want to get one outside of my patio here. I think they're like really expensive though, so I don't know how I can do that, but manifest it. I think physical stressors are something that is very, very useful and important, especially if they are in the way where it's literally proven to be helpful for health. Number 17 is that I don't think we have to grow up in the way that a lot of people think we do, and I think that this started to happen where I'd get some comments being like, are you ever going to cut your hair, stop wearing band t-shirts as you get into your like mid to late 20s? That's so weird to be in like mid 20s. Like, no, I sort of got them early 20s. It's like 25, but like teenager. And that was the Orgasm X blush. It's my favorite. It's been my favorite for also a decade. That's like the shit. Like, finding your products and just staying with them for a decade is like the fucking shit. And so yeah, I don't think you really have to grow up. I'm gonna wear the same things now that I did when I was 13, 14, 15. I'm gonna still wear like micro mini skirts and like tits out as I did when I was like 17. Like, I don't give a fuck. I think there's no one, like, you don't need to do that, and that's not something I could have realized if I was like 21 and still, people assumed for me to be a baby, but now apparently my brain has stopped developing, which I have doubts about. But yeah, I don't need to grow up, and you don't need to grow up either. Like, I grew up with like a parent who wore really provocative clothing into her late 50s, and that made me uncomfortable, but I feel like it's a little bit different. Like, late 50s, maybe it's a little bit different than mid 20s. Number 18, I found this really, really important, and I talked about it with my therapist yesterday. By the way, this highlighter is the Melt Morning Star highlight. I love it. I've had this for probably 2 to 3 years now. My makeup doesn't run out because I do it like twice a week. The thing I realized was that you don't have to be perfect in order to be a valuable friend, and I say this because there's certain behaviors that to us are not flaws and to us are not issues, but people probably talk about us with their therapist about. They're like, she's so dismissive, she's so cold, blah, 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 and we don't even think twice, and we just think it's like, no, like, we don't have even a word for that behavior in ourselves. And I just realized that because I had a guy friend. This is the Urban Decay De-Slick setting spray. Any of the Urban Decay setting sprays are amazing. I use them all, so this one I'm using. I do this before I put eyebrow gel on, or like eye makeup, mascara, etc. My guy friend was like, used to be really cold and off-putting and like really, really not mean, but he said something around just like callous or something, which I don't think I am, but I understand the cold and off-putting part. And he said, basically, and then I was like, well, if I was so mean and so callous, why did you hang out with me? And he just was like, because you were a good person, like, you don't need to be perfect in order to be hung out with. And I was like, oh, that's a realization that Maybe it's not, maybe everyone else is not as hard on themselves as I am on myself and other people, and I'm evaluating my behavior and weighing things out in a very utilitarian way to minimize harm, and I still stand by that, and I think that utilitarianism is the only sensible way to evaluate ethical actions, like what will reduce harm, point blank period. I don't give a fuck about the other mumbo jumbo. I mean, respectfully, I would debate you and, entertain your ideas. This was the NYX eyebrow gel in tinted brown mascara. It's like in the dark brown. It's rubbed off. Yeah, I think realizing that like people still value me even if I'm not the quote perfect friend with everything figured out, and I can still value them even if they have behavioral flaws that are not worth bringing up to them, but are just like, okay, man. That was a big, realization to me. I'm going to get in my outfit, do my hair, and come back for the rest of my makeup. Okay, so my hair is done and I'm in my outfit. I'll show the full thing like later. This comes with gloves, but it's like has a little slit, and it's this, and then my hair is very Ariana Grande. It's half up, and I have a bow. Let's see if I can put this on camera actually, because I have a bow here I want to put on, but I don't know. While I talk about the bow, I'll talk about something that I also feel like was a very old person realization for me, but I'm like happy with, which is finding beauty in like literal silence. Because I remember when I was a yoga teacher, when I was like 19, 20, and in New York, I used to love walking through the city at like 6 a.m. alone, not listening to any music. Like I loved the sound of the city at that time. And I think, with life and travel and things like that, I kind of lost that peace and that appreciation of simplicity, or just like not always listening to a podcast or music. And recently I've started again to practice just like silent peace, and I've really enjoyed it, and I think it allows for meditation and realizations that, otherwise wouldn't come. And I'm still someone that, I love listening to podcasts and stuff that I find educational and enlightening and great and all that. Oh my god, is this cute or is this cringe? Let me see what's going on with this. Okay, I think we're gonna keep the bow. I think we're gonna do it. But yeah, anyway, I think silence and, that becoming a more important part of my life is something that's happened over the past year, definitely. And the next thing is something that I didn't think about that much, just because I felt like it was a given until it wasn't, which was contracts in business. Like, I don't care how good of a friend they are, you need a fucking contract, because I can't tell you the amount of times when now things have started out super duper nice and friendly, and all of a sudden there's serious discussions or like a creative disagreement, and it turns to shit, because thankfully now I do have contracts in place and things like that, but so often it gets really, really out of control with that. And so I urge anyone, like, if you're in, business working with someone, you have to have a fucking contract. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. There's just too many times where that's really, really gone downhill or turned to shit, and like I won't, there has to be in place now. This is the Stay Golden Cosmetics Glitter Lip Kit in Vamp. It's like all glitter, so we're gonna fucking try this. I think I line and then I add in stuff. It comes with this very sharp liner. Now I apply this. What the fuck? This feels like glue chemicals. This is weird. This is very weird. All right, let's do the applicator. It said to wet it, so that's what we did. Piling on glitter. I'll be honest, I would start with the lipstick underneath and then put this on for safety, because this is fine, but like next time. Kind of like lashes, it helps to get this glue a little tacky. I'm obsessed. This is so cool. I'm obsessed. I'm not paid, but I'm obsessed with this. I was gonna do like a little bit of like crying, but I don't think that'll look as good with that. I think I should just do like straight up eye makeup. So number 21 is that I'm kind of accepting that I'm not gonna be tough ever. It might seem ironic from someone who talks about like physical stress and putting themselves through difficult physical things, but I think that's totally different than being like, desensitized to conflict. Like, I hate conflict so much, and I've just realized maybe I don't need exposure therapy to conflict. This is actually, no, I'm gonna put on the white after mascara. So I'm using the Marc Jacobs travel size mascara. I don't know what the fuck this is, but it works well. I barely put that on. I don't like heavy under eye for me. And then I'm using the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil and just like white for eyeliner. So just realizing like I'm just never going to be the tough person. I don't want to engage in conflict ever, and I'm okay with that. Like it's okay to accept some things about yourself. You don't need to go to the other extreme, and that for me is like aversion to conflict, very Libra moon, very like I will die instead of fighting you, and I don't. There's pros and there's cons to that, but we're just gonna roll with it because I'm not willing to change that. Also 23, I really learned that like this year especially, attachment was the root of all suffering. Whether I thought I was owed like more engagement or more views and stuff, and I was so attached to this thought of hitting certain metrics by the time I was 25. And like you can say I manifested a dream life in many ways, etc., but I didn't hit a lot of the numerical metrics and many things in my life that I thought I would have. I thought I should hit these by the time I'm like 22, 23 in certain ways, and I didn't. And it's because I was attached to that being a measure of my worth. And even though in some ways maybe it's the worth of contributions or whatnot, like I didn't reach those, and it's the attachment to that has caused a lot of suffering for me. So I've always studied yoga and Buddhism and things where you're supposed to release attachment, but sometimes you don't realize you're attached to things until you don't get them because they're a goal. And maybe now that I didn't, maybe I can manifest them. Also realize, number 24, that quitting is not always a bad thing. I would say that there's some things where you quit to make wins in other places, or you quit because that allows you more space to try on other things. So as much as we demonize quitting and giving up, I think that I do agree that if you never quit, you can never lose, but sometimes it's okay to quit or lose in one thing because then you can win in another, and you might be able to, really grow. Oh my god, I look so pretty. Oh my god. It's so cute. Because something else, better can come your way in that regard. Then the last thing that, before I put my full outfit on and show you guys, is that I really learned this, that if you divert from a dream, it will come back to either haunt you or just return to you, because if there's something you love and you enjoy and you give it up, you're either going to have to come to terms with the fact that you abandoned it, or you're going to basically have it reminding you constantly that you gave it up until you follow it. I know that growing up, I was always obsessed with acting, singing, movies, film, entertainment, and I kind of gave that up because I thought TikTok filled that void in that, this is an okay like substitute, plan B kind of thing. But I realized this year that I wasn't going to be happy making 15-second videos much longer. Not that I'm stopping, but like that's not, my calling in a way. Some people are called to be TikTok famous dancers, whatever. I kind of want other things for myself. So if you abandon a dream, that's your fucking dream. And like you're either going to have to compromise or you're going to have to go for it. And like it's never going to change if it's been like a lifelong, haunting. It's going to haunt you until, you change. But let me put the rest of my outfit on. We'll see. I don't know what shoes I'm going to wear yet. Okay, I'm obsessed with this outfit. No, we're going to move this. We're going to completely wreck the setup. I have to show this outfit. This is insane. This is from Baby Boo, I believe. It is a sparkly red skirt top. I've had these socks for forever. These shoes I actually got from Two Pores Depop literally like probably 8 years ago. Like I was 17 when I got these shoes actually. I wore them to last year's birthday. Hair is in a bow. I don't know. It's from Amazon actually. I do know where it's from. Let's see if I can show this off a bit better. Ooh, this is like perfect like show off outfit territory. So yeah, I hope that the glitter shows. I hope that I'll insert some photos or video of my lips because they're just like really cool. Please track my face. Why isn't this working? There we go. So anyway, I'll send look how good that looks. Look how good that looks. I hope that you learned something out of this, and I'll see you for 26. Oh my god, old.